Here we go.
You ready?
Yep.
Okay. Welcome, everybody. We are gathered together on our ongoing quest to build a culture of empathy. And as you heard, we are recording this call for educational and promotional purposes. So we'd like to start with a short round of check-ins up to 30 seconds. So you can share, if you have been able to facilitate an empathy circle or any learnings from your empathy buddy call, or if you have any questions from the last session. And I will be calling on you and giving you your 30 seconds. So I'm going to start with Julia. Are you okay starting off?
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Celine. So last week I had this empathy call with Dominic. It was really nice. Made me reflect how in this with this practice we are really able to talk about even very hard stuff and deep stuff so easily. And it also helps to connect some way. And yeah, this was something that I took home, let's say, from the call with Dominic. And yeah, that's all. I didn't have any chance to facilitate a circle, and but yeah, I will try next week. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Cynthia, would you share with us, please?
Absolutely. So I had a wonderful empathy buddy call with Graham this week. And something I learned from that was I had a situation where a real crisis had come up with a friend. And I was trying to think through how to best help her, and I asked her, whether, do you want me to just listen? Do you want me to help problem solve? Those kinds of things. And I was talking it through with Graham, and he was so generous. He gave me the entire floor. He said, my goal is to connect, and I really want to connect, and my goal is being met. So let's, for this week, it's a real crisis. Let's talk about your thing. It was just a beautiful active listener. I know, of course, I would provide that for him or for anybody else in another situation where a friend is in a crisis. That was really a beautiful call, and it turned out exactly at the timing I needed it. I had scheduled to do an empathy circle with my friends. I was on vacation all week and we were going to do it, and something came up and the timing fell through. So I'm trying again over Zoom with that set this coming week.
Great. Thank you so much, Cynthia. Prasanna, would you please share with us in your 30 seconds?
Yes. So the highlight for me is that I am continuing to do these circles with my family regularly now. And my mama is going to join one of the circles now. So I asked her, okay, this we have done. Let's go to an external circle, meet new people also. So tomorrow she's joining one. So it's such a highlight for me this week. And I had an amazing buddy call with Celine. It was such a pleasure. And I learned about that in buddy calls, actually, it's just not about problem solving or just a small empathy circle. A buddy call can be so much. A buddy can be so important to you as a support system. And there are a wide range of things that support system can bring in. So I got a different dimension of the buddy support system in the call. Thank you so much, Celine, for that.
Yeah. Thank you for your sharing, Prasanna. Cecilia, would you be ready to give us 30 seconds about what you're doing?
Yes, thank you so much. Actually, I haven't been doing too much. Sorry I missed you last week, but I was at a nonviolent training camp, and we had a brief workshop on empathy circles, and it was very well received. There were so many people, so we split in two groups, and my friend who had only once or twice tried Empathy Circle. She ran the other circle, and though it was very brief, they got a taste for it. I hope, and I believe. And then I had a very generous body call from Dean. Thank you so much. I was chatting away most of the time, but I'll make it up for you some other time. Thank you.
Thank you, Cecilia. Joelle, would you please tell us about your week?
Hi, everybody. I unfortunately missed my buddy call. Apologies to Larry. But I did do an empathy circle through Meetup on Sunday morning, and it was lovely. And one thing that has been really impactful for me is noticing how that structured empathy exchange can reset my nervous system into a better state of well-being. I'd had some sort of involvement with individuals who are low empathy people, and just having an empathy exchange, not even around the subject of the challenges, just having an empathy exchange was such a wonderful reset. So I'm still so grateful.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Joelle. Kathy, would you please tell us about your empathy buddy and empathy circle?
So I met Bill Friday afternoon, and it was wonderful because it was the end of a tough week for me. So I got some empathy around that. And it was good to get to know Bill better also. I've been reading a few books on neuroscience, and each of them talks a lot about empathy and what it does to the brain. So I'm learning more about that. And this is just like so amazing and important for growing your brain, developing neuroplasticity, growing your heart. So I'm really grateful to be here for an additional reason. So
Wonderful. Thank you, Kathy. Nina, would you please share with us?
Yeah, hi. So I had a buddy call with Ben. I'm in two groups, so now I'm trying to remember which one it was. But yes, it was Ben. So we did something that I hadn't done before, which was we meditated before we started the buddy call. So we had like 5 minutes of like some breathing exercises, and I found that really centering. I thought it was. I'm kind of. I just want to do it every time now. For so if you're my buddy, that's what we're gonna do. So I really enjoyed that, and we had a great conversation about empathy. And I was trying to recall there was something that I think that came up, which was want to fill the void or fill the silence by just talking, by trying to sort of jump in. And I think my reason is because I just, well, partially it's probably my own anxiety, but also I think it's because I want people to not feel like people who maybe not be great at having conversation to not feel like, I don't know, just to make them feel more comfortable, I think is what it was why, one of the reasons why I do it. And I think talking to Ben, it kind of, he has a different approach. And I'm sort of like now seeing the value in his approach. So let the silence just remain and see what happens.
Thank you, Mina. Ralph, would you share with us, please?
I'd be delighted to. I can't shake this thought that my life is divided into two epochs. The first was up to the time I went to kindergarten. I was a few months shy of 5. And then the next epoch began after that, when I had homework, when I had to be obedient after living in paradise before that. But I come to this group not having done my homework exactly, still a little bit uneasy, but feeling that I'll be accepted just as I am. And more than the homework, I find that similar to what I just heard about resetting, I'm on 2 tracks. One is, you could say, mindfulness training, and the other is this empathy training. And they persist in all aspects of my life. So in a sense, I've done a tremendous amount of homework because I've been more empathic than I have been in the past in whatever situation comes up.
Thank you. Thank you, Ralph.
Welcome.
I like thinking of us in kindergarten, so we'll join you there. So, Larry, would you please share with us about your week?
Yeah, I did have a very busy week, and I emailed Joel late, and I was really looking forward to an empathy buddy call with Joel. She's the one that probably 2 or 3 months ago said something that I'd never gotten over. She said, and this was to me, to my experience, this was when she was first participating in empathy circles, and she had this, to me, this beautiful realization: empathy dissolves the hierarchy of power. And I thought, oh my God, it's so true. Empathy dissolves the hierarchy of power. That's my check-in. That says it all. And thank you, Ralph. Yes, we're all accepted, homework or not. Thank you all.
Thank you, Larry. Dominic, would you be willing to share now?
Yeah, absolutely. I had a wonderful call with Julia this week, and it made me think about how technology, I don't know, I felt so connected after and like centered, and we're on the opposite sides of the world. It made me pretty grateful for technology. Yeah, I'm excited for today.
Thank you. Dean, would you share, please?
Yeah, we've been practicing the family empathy circles. They're wonderful because actually we listen to each other. And we were doing the tour around Britain, the crisis talk, and actually we employed the structured dialogue in that process too. Although we didn't do the reflection, we did do the fact that you weren't allowed to talk until it was your turn. And that actually helped with deep listening, which is a very powerful thing. And yes, I had a really good buddy call with Celia, and I'm looking forward to helping her with her work in Sweden. Thank you.
Thank you, Dean. Bill, could you share with us?
Sure. Yeah, I want to concur. I had a great talk with Kathy, getting to know her and her situation, and I've been doing circles in this context, and I'm also doing my empathy in schools, and so I'm trying to build that. But I guess what really struck me is that I reconnected with a student of mine who I hadn't talked to in over a decade, and I had coffee together. This student is on the spectrum, and it was great. You know, he has his own job, he's living independently, he can drive, which is huge. So that was great. And I also connected with a cousin I hadn't talked to in over 40 years. She's a psychotherapist in London. And so that was really great too. So a lot of, reconnections. And of course, I just found that those listening skills kind of kick in. And so anyway, that was my week. Thanks.
Great. Thank you, Bill. Lou, would you be willing to tell us about your week?
Yeah, thanks. What's present most for me at this moment is to say that what I noticed is that in my one-on-one conversations, particularly with people who are closest to me, it's very easy for me to slip into problem solving and advice giving. And that when I don't do that, like when I remember to just listen, how much the other person finds their own solutions, or they come back later and ask for advice if they're wanting it, if they're needing some kind of help with problem solving. And that what I've noticed is that one of the things about listening is if I'm in a very difficult situation with someone, like I'm having a problem or there's a problem between us, if I do listening without trying to problem solve, at least initially, it provides a certain kind of space for people to find their own solutions or to choose to do things differently on their own, actually, even without solving problems between us. So anyway, so just the way in which it provides space for people to make their own choices, I think is a very powerful element of why listening is important.
Thank you, Lou. Anne, would you please tell us
Yeah,
your...
yeah, I've had a really very busy week. I was away, and I'm sorry I missed you all last week, on camp, sort of deep in the countryside, with Extinction Rebellion activists. And this week I've been, I think it is a case for me of using the empathy skills that I've learned in different interactions I've been having with people, and it's been useful, and I feel in some cases it makes me much more effective in what I'm doing. And it was good. I do some empathy cafes with Caro, and we had a meeting in the last few days, and it was really good after a break to come together and connect again, and spend some time on that before getting down to the business. And having done that, the business part of it went very smoothly and well. So that was good. I'm looking forward to working together again. Thank you
very much, Anne. Thank you. Edwin, will you share with us, please?
Yeah, I'm having a little bit of audio video problem. My video, I might be turning it off periodically just because it seems to be affecting the audio somehow. But otherwise, Friday we had our open introduction cafe. We had 30 participants who are coming mainly from LinkedIn, from an event on LinkedIn. There was just two of us facilitators, Ralph and myself. I didn't really, put it out there that we were needing facilitators, but we used a fishbowl approach. So I just said, whoever would like to be part of the empathy circle in a fishbowl approach, and you just raise your hand. So we had about 7, 8 people were willing to take part, and then the rest just observed. And it actually worked fairly well. I thought it was sort of an opportunity for people who are a bit maybe like a little nervous about taking part, being on the spot, doing the empathic listening, that they could just observe it. And then those who are a bit more experienced or, more ready to jump in could demonstrate it. So anyway, it worked really well. I just thought that's really a good, could be a good model for if you have a really big cafe, you don't have enough facilitators and people are new, they're just kind of checking it out, to use that sort of fishbowl model. So that was a good learning during the week. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you, Edwin. I will share that I had a delightful empathy buddy call with Prasanna that I love very much. And also I did a small empathy circle with 2 women in Mexico who are organizing nonviolent communication classes for the Spanish-speaking world. And they are interested in me teaching empathy circles to that group, that audience. And I'm very excited about this. So that's what happened for me. And now I'm going to pass this on to Anne.
Thank you, Celine. Thank you, Celine. And there were a couple of points from the feedback forms. So thank you for those of you that submitted those. That always useful. One point that was raised was about using the chat during the empathy circle. And it is one of the things that we recommend not to use chat, because when we're in empathy circles, we all have a role, and as a silent listener or the active listener. So it's best to focus your communication and your role on what's actually going on in the circle. So we tend not to use the chat for any communication during that, unless it's something urgent, administrative that actually is essential for the circle. So that was one point that was raised. So that would be a recommendation for that. Another another was a request about getting help with facilitating. And in the chat, there has been a link posted to the email group with yours name on and our names on. So if ever you want facilitators to help you run a cafe or a circle, that's a way to reach out and make contact with other people. And you're all on that list anyway. And there was another point which was, about someone mentioning that it's playing is happening. So I suggest that if you are using role playing in the circle, that you say that's what you're doing, rather than just doing it, which could be disorientating. So in the training sessions, we do use role playing to role play potentially difficult situations, and you get a choice as to how difficult you would like your challenges to be. But when that's happening, the person, your facilitator or trainer, will be doing some role playing. Are there any further questions for feedback that you would like help with? Cynthia.
Yes, I just have one question. I want to make sure I completely understand the chat function, ideally not using that in the circle. How do you all feel about using it here during check-ins? Like Kathy mentioned her book, and I'm like, oh, I want to ask Kathy what that book was. So how do you feel about chat use during this? I'd like to follow whatever you all feel is best.
Has anybody got any reflection on that, other than, because mine was really fairly much focused on the circle?
Yeah.
Lou, are there any trainers who'd like to comment on that?
Sorry, I'm muted. I would say, as long as you're not using the chat to comment on what people are saying, that's fine. Like you were asking for information, I think that's fine. Okay. We have had situations in the past where people used the chat to comment on what someone was saying, and that's really not, none of us are commenting on what other people are saying while they're saying it. And like Anne was saying, like chatting during an empathy circle, then in essence, that's side talking. That's like if you were an actual cycle, it would be like somebody talking to someone else while someone is speaking, and we don't do that.
That makes great sense. Thank you for that clarification, Lou.
And Bill, would you like to add something?
Sure. And it's a real, I think what Anne said was correct, but sometimes because people have a really bad internet connection or they're very shy, they've actually started to participate in the chat. And we've used that as another way to overcome that technological difficulty or an emotional performance anxiety issue. Those would be two exceptions, to the rule, which reinforces the rule, I guess.
Thanks, Bill.
Okay.
Okay. Anything else? Then I'll pass on to Dean, who's going to introduce the breakouts for this evening.
Hello, yes. Today we will devote all of the time in the breakout circles to giving you time to practice facilitation. So we will not be doing the how-to. That allows you to have more time practicing addressing challenges. And the challenges will be, as Anne has said previously, set by the trainee or the trainer. And at the start, when you are the facilitator, the trainer will ask you how you would like the challenge level. So would you like none? Would you like a low level? Would you like a medium level? Would you like a high level? High level means someone can be very, very persistent and it's very, very trying. But the whole idea about these challenges is once you've experienced them in the training circle, you will then, if you experience them in the real world, it will allow you to then be pre-armed, so it won't be quite as shocking as it is as if it was to happen without any previous experience of this process. So without further ado, because we need to get as much time in the circling as possible, I'll then ask.
Dean, we have a hand up. Kathy has a hand up.
Yeah. How often do the high end of the challenges happen?
If you're in a circle and you want high challenges, they will be coming at you quite often.
Yeah, but in real life, how often do they happen?
Not very often.
Okay.
But it's always good to have had a previous experience so that when it does happen in real life, you're not just stunned by it. It's better to be stunned in a safe space than it is to be stunned in the real world, because then you may actually put other people thinking, oh, they don't know what they're doing. And we do know what we're doing. It's just sometimes the shock value is overwhelming. So it's best to be overwhelmed in a safe space. That would be my personal advice.
I just give a quick comment on that. Let me turn off my video. Sorry, it's because of the bandwidth issue. You'll find the most challenges come when you're facilitating a group of new people. For example, in the breakout in the Friday group, there's a lot of people who have no idea of what they've even gotten themselves into. And so you'll have a lot of the challenges come up there. And also if you're doing sort of contentious mediation sort of work, like with the empathy tent, where we bring together people from different sides, political sides or personal conflicts, you'll get a lot of the challenges there. In general, most of the time people are, quite trying to, be respectful, and it's not too bad, especially once they've done it a few times. It's almost like there's almost you don't even have that much to do. It's just like you're just holding the space. Everybody knows how to do it. And in this group, the scenario is that you're facilitating to a group that's not familiar with the practice. So that's sort of the role play that we're doing here. So we're ready to go into the rooms. We have 4 rooms. The first one will be facilitated by Dean with Luce. There's 2, a trainer and 2 trainers, or a trainer and a trainee in each room. So each of the participants is going to have half the time. So you'll have a lot of time to facilitate. Whoever is the facilitator, you can decide who's going to give the challenges. Room number 2 is Celine with Bill, and there'll be 2 participants. Celine will facilitate. Room 3 is Dominic with Anne, and Dominic is the overall room facilitator, and I'll be with Larry, who will facilitate a room. We'll be staying here. We have an hour and a half then for this part, and I'll send a notice 10 minutes before closing. So I think we're ready to head into the rooms. I'm just have my video kind of minimal here, so I'm not seeing if there's any questions or anything. So do shout out if there's anything comes up.
Is there a topic?
Oh, it's yes, the topic is it's a choice. The facilitator, whoever's facilitating the room, has the let's see, usually we post that. Do we have that question? I don't have that handy.
Well, it's the practice facilitator's choice.
Yeah, whatever you want.
Chooses the topic, right?
Yeah, thanks for that clarification. Okay, here we go. Kathy, you should see a button to join a room. You're in another room.
Oh, sorry.
There we go. Okay, Larry.
Welcome, everyone. So today we will not be doing the how-to, so you'll have more time for facilitating. And it seems like we're going to have probably 20 minutes per facilitator for practice, and then we'll stop for a 5-minute debrief.
Larry, we have only Prasanna and Julia will be facilitating, so you can divide the hour and a half in half for just them to facilitate. So
All
what
right.
would that, what would that be? It's 90 minutes divided by 2, about roughly
45.
40, yeah, about 40 minutes. Maybe 10
About
minutes
40
debrief.
minutes. Edwin, could you keep that time?
Would you
I
mind
can-
if I don't? If
Oh, that would be
it's just that I've got all this other stuff kind of going that I'm sort of tracking here. It's
So 40 minutes or 45?
yeah, I think 40 minutes and with a 10-minute debrief at the very end, maybe.
I'll start the 40 minutes right now so that we can be on time. Thank you. Time is one of those challenging things for me. Would anyone like to begin? Does anyone feel comfortable to facilitate?
I can start.
And you dial up the challenge. What do you want? The 0 or to 5?
Low level, I don't know, 2.
Okay. 2. And you'll be giving the challenges, Larry? Is that
Sure. Okay.
Okay, so I will use a timer. So you will hear a sound when the turn is over. The topic for the circle would be dealing with conflicts. So for example, what are your methods of dealing with conflicts? What are your major difficulties? And I can actually write it in the chat. And major difficulties. I hope you're the only one seeing that. Okay, and I think we can have turns of 5 minutes since we are just 4. I will be the first listener. So who wants to speak first?
Okay, I can go.
Okay, when you want.
Sure. So the topic is dealing with conflicts, techniques, and major difficulties. Okay. For me, personally, if I reflect back on my younger days about conflicts, and generally, of course, it used to be around the family conflicts and all. I used to be someone who used to just like run away from them rather than facing them head on, face to face.
Okay, so I'm hearing that if you think about the conflicts that you have, especially in your family, you're the kind of person that tends to run away from them, like to avoid them.
Yeah, this is someone in my younger days, I meant. In my younger days, I used to be someone like that. I used to avoid, yeah, just to clarify. Put things under the carpet, that used to be the approach. But since then, it really didn't leave me in a very good place, that approach of just letting go or putting things under the carpet. It actually takes a toll on your health, and especially your mental health, and the relationships also. So it doesn't work in the long term. And when I started growing up, eventually meeting a lot of new people and seeing them, observing them, how they used to handle conflicts with empathy. that really gave me a guidance that this can also be an approach to resolve things.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, Prasanna, I was a little bit distracted by Larry. I don't know if you mind like turning off the effects, because yeah, I found it a little bit disturbing in the end. I got lost in Prasanna's. Okay, thank you. I'm hearing that you clarified, actually, I misunderstood, that you clarified that you in the past, like when you were younger, you tend to avoid conflicts, and now you don't do that anymore. You realize that it's not so useful to hide them under the carpet. And please, can you repeat the second part?
Yes. And when I started growing up, meeting a lot of new people and seeing them, observing them, how they resolve conflict, and especially through empathy, how they are resolving the adults in my life, it really gave me a direction that this can also be an approach to deal with things. I learned.
Oh, I see. So you had a different perspective when you started observing like what other people normally do to deal with conflicts, and for example, you saw how they use empathy, and really this helped you a lot.
Yes. So that's why that's my way of learning, observing situations, observing people, handling them, and was the core, and with the value that the relationship shouldn't be affected, and without even making compromises, that more of a win-win situation where everyone feels heard and everyone feels supported, and knowing that they can let go of this. And so that's quite interesting for me, how empathy does it. So yeah.
So you found that really empathy as a method was really useful because it gives you the ability to observe people. And yeah, tell me if I misunderstood something.
No, yeah, that's the essence of it. Yeah, that's it for me. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, time's up. Then so now it's my time to speak. Larry, would you be my listener?
Yes, I will, Julia.
Thank you. So I'm setting the timer. So Prasanna talked about something that I can really relate to, because I also tended to avoid conflicts, and I've always done that. But at one point, I realized that it's bad to do that for a series of reasons. And I stop here.
Thank you, Julia. So I hear you saying that this is a topic that you can relate to, and that there was a time when you did tend to avoid conflict, and then you came to a place where you came to, I guess, a realization that it's not a good idea. It's bad. I think you said the word bad, to avoid conflict.
Yeah, exactly. I came to this conclusion, but still I have troubles doing that. So like I do tend to run away in a very unconscious way. Yeah, and I'll stop here.
So you did come to this conclusion that it's not good to avoid conflict, and that you do have still this tendency to run away.
Yes. And on the other hand, I saw, like from my experience, in some cases where I addressed the conflicts directly that I was having with some people in particular, with friends or colleagues, then I saw that this addressing directly the problem would help to, strengthen the relationship and make things better.
So you did come to that conclusion, but more recently you've noticed that with friends, actually, when you address the problem, it actually strengthens the relationship and makes it better.
Yeah, I've had the same situation. I'm so glad you mentioned that, Julia.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think that's exactly the same thing that happened with me. So
yeah,
glad
that's good to hear, Edwin. So I would be very happy if you also share your experience when your turn is to be the speaker, so we can continue the conversation.
You're saying, oh, okay, yeah, sorry.
Okay. No, don't worry. Let's see, how do I handle then conflicts? One way that I use that is really like handling them in a very indirect way is to talk using a lot of sarcasm or making jokes. That's like kind of talking to one person, trying to make them feel like there is something like that you have to say something, but you're not saying that directly. So you're trying to make them understand, like between the lines, but it doesn't work all the time.
So Julia, I hear you saying that there's one way that you've tried to kind of, you didn't use the word diffuse, but it sounds like to use humor to try to speak in between the lines to get them to get the message by humor.
Yes, exactly. But yeah, as I said, this doesn't work all the time, and especially when these conflicts get, with this method, they just get sometimes bigger and bigger until you arrive at the one point where it's not, it's necessary to address them directly.
So this method doesn't work all the time. Sometimes you try to being humorous and it's just the conflicts actually grow until you actually address it.
Yes, yeah, thank you, Larry. I feel fully heard. So now you can select the person you're talking to, and you can be the next speaker.
Thank you, Julia. Edwin, can I talk to you?
Yes, I may need to turn my video off because of audio issues. So just in case you see me disappear, I'm still here.
It's working perfect right now, so yay. So I'll just talk about what's alive in me, if that's all right.
You want to talk about what's alive in you at the moment?
Yeah. I definitely empathize with this topic of conflicts, because I don't think humans enjoy conflicts.
So this topic really resonates with you, and you feel that people don't really like conflict in general.
Yeah, I really appreciate what Marshall Rosenberg said about some thousands of years ago. A domination thought system was introduced to humanity, and it continues into this day.
Yeah, so you're really resonating with what Marshall Rosenberg said about 10,000 years ago. This domination sort of mindset came into humanity, and it's still going now.
And I don't believe humans are designed to live under domination. I think it suppresses our health and happiness and leads to war.
So you think that we're not really designed for that domination sort of mindset because it just has all these negative consequences of war, etc.
And I am extremely grateful for finding these empathy circles that for me is just a phenomenal example of a practical application where you're practicing the empathy and learning it at the same time.
So I'm hearing a real appreciation for the empathy circle practice because you're doing empathy and practicing at the same time versus maybe a theoretical sort of or exhortation or something.
And like I've heard a few people comment, I think Joelle was one who said it's kind of rewiring or healing our brains because empathy dissolves the hierarchy of the domination thought system.
Mm-hmm. So you're seeing that empathy and empathy circles dissolves this hierarchical way of being, and that domination way of being.
And I think we are literally rewiring our brains, as the old saying goes, the neurons that fire together, wire together. As we practice empathy, we're rewiring and healing our natural brains.
So you see that by practicing this, we're rewiring our brains to a more empathic way, and that's built on neurons that fire together. So when we're doing empathy circles, we're rewiring our brains in an empathic way.
Exactly. Thank you, Edwin. I feel fully heard.
Okay, thanks. I'll speak to Prasanna. Okay. Yeah, this is a great topic about maybe you could mute what I'm speaking. I'm just hearing background noise. If you'd be willing to mute, just yeah, thank you. So let me collect my thoughts again. Yeah, so for conflict, what is it that really comes up for me? What I think is really helpful for conflict, if conflict comes up, I can just listen to people and empathize with them. Sometimes I'll want to fight, but instead I'll catch myself and say, oh, just reflect back what they're saying as the first step.
Larry, I think you're maybe distracting Edwin or Prasanna with the with the Zoom features again.
I was just trying to update my
but they're really nice. I think if you do it later, it's still worth it, Okay, so sorry, Edwin, go on, please.
Yeah, I was pausing there for Prasanna.
Okay, I may hit mute because I got distracted with the communication there. But starting, Edwin, I hear you saying that you really like the topic on conflicts. That's for starters. And when you are in a situation where there's a conflict, you would like to be silent and empathize. And here I got messed up. Please, can you clarify? You ask the people to reflect, or you reflect, Edwin?
Well, first I try to, sometimes I want to fight back, right? Or in the conflict, but then I'll catch myself and I'll say, no, just reflect back what they're saying. So it's that catching myself and then just reflecting what they say is, sort of one approach.
So I hear you say that the first instinct comes of fighting back, but then you collect yourself and you reflect on what they are saying and empathize.
Mm-hmm. I reflect back. If they're saying, oh, you're an idiot or this or that, I say, okay, you're thinking this. You're just like we're doing right now. I kind of reflect back. And it always just reduces the tension,
So you reflect back, you corrected me that you reflect back, this helps in reducing the tension.
And what the frustrating part is if they're not willing to empathize with me, in the family that happens, right? It's like, it's like, if we have an agreement, I know that if we have an agreement that will reflect back each other, like we're doing an empathy circle, we can work it out and it has a sense of fairness. But if they don't want to, it's like, I'm right, I don't want to empathize with you, I don't need to empathize with you. That's the hard thing. That's very frustrating. It's like having that agreement of mutual listening that I know that that will resolve, that the conflict can resolve. Otherwise, it's like, I don't want to do all the listening. I want it to be mutual. And then that kind of adds to frustration if they're not willing to eventually listen.
So I hear you speak about two situations. Once, if there's an agreement, like in empathy circles, where there's an agreement that people will be reflecting back. So that situation is all right. But mostly when it comes to family, when there is no structured dialogue, there's not a process in place, it becomes frustrating. When you empathize, but the other person is not willing to empathize or reflect back. And that's quite challenging and frustrating.
Yeah, it's almost like, hey, I don't want to have a relationship if it's not going to be mutually empathic. You know, this is a ground rule for and if it's not going to work, I'm not going to bother with this relationship until we can have that ground rule.
So for you, it's very important that that mutual ground rule in relationships are there, that we are going to empathize in situation. If it's not happening, then you really don't want to bother with that relationship.
Yeah, I had
Do I
one.
hear you right?
Yeah, that's it. I have in my family with one family member, you know, we got into a big argument in a fight. And then we usually use empathy circles for it. Then they just, I'm not going to do this anymore. And just started, this is stupid what you're doing. You know, it's really critical about the whole. And then so they stepped out and they weren't going to do the empathy circle anymore. And I said, well, there's no reason for me to continue there. I'm just going to say goodbye. And that threat of me leaving, they said, oh, okay, I'll do it. So I had to like threaten them with leaving the relationship. And I wasn't going to continue with the relationship, you know, going forward if they weren't willing to have a mutually empathic dialogue. So there's something about having that mutual agreement that what's the use of a relationship, you know, if you can't have it be a mutually empathic relationship.
So I hear you that a big part of you in relationships is that it's a mutually agreement that it's going to be an empathetic relationship. And you shared about one situation when a conflict came in the family and you thought that empathy circle can be a way to resolve, but they were not willing to participate. And you had to just give them a sort of a warning that you will leave the relationship.
I've got a better idea. Maybe I could make a suggestion here. What do you think?
Yeah, I think you can, like, as soon as Prasanna will have her turn to speak, she will select you as active listener if she wants.
Okay, butt out, Larry. You're just like just stop being such an asshole. You're always trying to take the attention here, and I find it very annoying what you're doing, Larry.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have to use those words, but it's really important that we stick to the dialogue, to the structured process that we have here, so that we make sure that everyone has the right amount of time to share and to listen. And yeah, so time's up, Edwin.
Oh, okay.
Prasanna, is your time.
But Larry used my time. Larry interrupted me and used my time. Did you count that extra time in?
Yeah, we will later, maybe.
Did Larry use up my time, or did I have a full 5 minutes?
You will have again a full 5 minutes when is your turn.
But was my 5 minutes used up by Larry interrupting, or did I have 5 minutes just now?
Later, when you will be selected to speak.
No, I don't think you're understanding. Did Larry interrupt my 5 minutes? Did I get a full 5 minutes when I talked to
No,
Prasanna?
he didn't interrupt your 5 minutes. It was your time was already up.
Okay, all right, then that seems fair. Okay.
Okay. then Prasanna, you can select your speaker and speak as you want.
Okay. Okay. I need to select a speaker.
Sorry, the listener, your listener.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, okay. A listener. Yeah. Larry, would you like to listen to me?
Yes, I would be happy to.
Yeah. So just reflecting on what Edwin shared was, I found it very interesting having a ground rule in relationships that if or mutual understanding that if it's going to be empathetic and it's not going to be one way, but both the ways, it's going to be mutual. That was quite an interesting thought for me.
So Prasanna, I hear you saying that it's really quite interesting to consider what Edwin has suggested, that in a relationship, it will be mutual and there will be empathy, or there won't be a relationship.
Yes, and that's quite strong a stand actually, that you're standing up for your value, that this is a value which is so important to you, and if the relationship really matters, then they will appreciate, or they will at least try to support you or uphold your values also, if they really care for you. Otherwise, actually, there is no point of continuing in a relationship with no care actually, and that was quite interesting. Yeah.
So Prasanna, I hear you hearing what Edwin was saying and exploring that, and that it's quite interesting to consider that, you know, if there's not going to be this respect and upholding this agreement, that there will be empathic communication, and if it's not going to be upheld equally, mutually, then that's a very strong stance to take. But you know, it's really something to look at.
Yes. When I see my own stance in conflicts, I think, yes, sometimes I have actually given in so much of myself by just letting go, and people just treating me the way they want to treat me, and really not standing up for what I believe. I think in the long term, it has just harmed me. And I think taking a stand for yourself, having that self-empathy is also very important if you want to be a positive influence in the society.
So Prasanna, I hear you saying that reflecting on previous relationships you've seen where you've been giving and giving and giving, and not standing up for your rights, and eventually this comes to a state of feeling harmful to you. And I think I lost something right after that, that it was harmful to you. And
yeah, and it's very important that to stand up for what you believe in, so that in the long term, it actually, so you can be a positive influence for people around you. Otherwise, you're so impacted by all these things that, yeah. So I just wanted to say that. Yeah.
Thank you. It's very important that you stand up for yourself so that you can be, and there's a word that I couldn't catch, so that you can be something for other people.
Positive influence.
Posture.
Positive. Yeah. Positive.
Poster.
Yeah.
Example.
Positive is like a good, yeah,
positive.
Positive.
Thank you.
Yeah, like yeah. Yeah, and that's so important. Yeah, I want to share an interesting story I read today on LinkedIn. It was shared by a friend on empathy and on resolving conflicts, actually. I just read it before coming to the circle. It was about this two people. One is in a position of power and one is an employee who doesn't hold that privileges, and they had a conflict and they were arguing with each other and no one liked each other attitude. And this friend of mine, he intervenes and he talks to them, and he talks to the person who is the guest, who is the person in the position of power, who is the client actually, and he hears him out completely, understand from where is he coming, what difficulties he is feeling. And later he also responds that I do understand that what challenges you are facing. I will definitely make sure that it's resolved. And I will make sure that my colleague knows that he shares that my colleague is apologetic for the way he behaved. And later on, after he shares that I will also let my colleague know that you are also feeling sorry that the way you behaved.
Prasanna, can you pause there for a minute so I can catch that?
Yes.
I'm going to try to reflect that. So this was a conversation that happened today on LinkedIn, and a conversation in which there was a superior and an employee, and a conversation between them, a dialogue going back and forth. And I think you said a friend of yours or someone intervened and actually exampled being able to hear the client's side of things, to hear them out completely. And I think that's where I dropped off.
Yes, yes. And he heard him completely, but he also made sure that the client know, to let the client know that his behavior was also not in that tone. He didn't share. He said, yeah, I do hear you out, your pain and all, and I will let my colleague also know that you're also feeling sorry the way you behaved with him. And that person was actually, because he was in that, the client after, because he was completely heard, he was settled. So when he heard the last line that he will let the colleague know that he's also sorry, he actually was like, oh yes, I also behaved incorrectly. I will apologize for that way. So that was very interesting how he handled the whole situation, letting both of them being completely heard and settled. So that was quite interesting.
So Prasanna, I hear you saying, I think our time is up. I'll reflect this last part back. And I hear you saying the continuation of this conversation where the client was fully heard and the supervisor also let them know that their behavior was a little bit off in a very a gentle way, as this was expressed. And the client realized that, and the supervisor said, I will let the other person know that you weren't happy with the way you were communicating, something like that. And it resolved the issue.
Yeah.
Thank you, Prasanna.
Thank you.
All right. So I'll just check the time. 6 minutes remaining. All right. So Julia, can I speak to you?
Yes. Sure.
All right.
When you want.
Yeah, it's a great topic, human conflicts. And like I was saying to Edwin earlier, I'm really grateful that Marshall Rosenberg, in one of his books, reports that thousands of years ago, humans got off on this idea that domination by powerful people over less powerful people was not only a good idea, but the dominator should celebrate and be happy about dominating the weak.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm hearing that you're quoting again from the author, that you mentioned earlier. It talks about the fact that about this domination culture where dominator, so the strongest, should be happy about the fact that they're dominating the weak. Tell me if correct me if I'm wrong.
Thank you, Julia. That's exactly right. And this was put together, according to what Marshall wrote, by the priests and the kings thousands of years ago, who basically pull things out of the holy books to make it almost look like, this was justified by the holy books, that the strong dominator has the right to punish whoever is weak. And it's incredible to me that this continues even today.
So you're saying that this has some historical reasons, like from the kings that were justifying themselves being arrogant and being so dominant with the weak, and it surprises you a lot that this still goes on now.
And there was also a patriarchal aspect to it, or the macho male somehow was given the right to dominate the women, and to, they were practically blessed in being able to do that. And it's just incredible that it goes on still today.
So I'm hearing that the same applies also to males' rights. So the same idea was born with males dominating women, and this also goes on in the current society.
And I really enjoy what Edwin was saying when he said, that, if we're not going to have mutuality in this relationship and practice communicating openly, honestly, transparently, empathically, then we don't have a relationship. That was amazing.
So you're reflecting about what Edwin said earlier that mutuality is so important for people, because it's like the necessary condition to have a relationship.
Exactly. And so I'd like to spend the rest of my life doing empathy circles. I wish I'd found them decades ago.
Now you're reflecting about how much you like the practice of empathy circles, and you would have been very happy to have fun about it years ago.
And that we could also care for one another and care for the planet that we live on, instead of just considering it to be something to be turned into higher stock markets and higher dollars in bank accounts, but care for the planet.
Yeah, I'm hearing that you value what care, meaning care between humans, and also care for the planet, and that we could also we should use care instead of being interested in money or prestige or
yeah. And there's an environmentalist who says, he's a scientist, and he says, we scientists thought that if we presented this data of what's happening with the climate over a period of time, people would hear it and change their ways, but it didn't work. And he says the biggest problem we have now is this greedy attitude amongst the population, and scientists don't know how to fix that.
Yeah, so I'm hearing that you're quoting from an environmentalist who thought that just by presenting the effects of climate change, thought that people would have changed their behavior, but actually no. Like nowadays, there is this spirit that is so greedy that it's difficult to change.
And scientists don't know how to change that.
Yeah, and scientists do not know how to change that. Time's up.
How are we doing on time? 12 seconds.
Hmm.
All right.
I don't know if that's enough for another.
And the plan is to take a 5-minute review or debrief.
Mhm.
Okay, got it. So, Julia, how was that for you?
Mhm. Oh, it was hard. Maybe also because I skipped the sessions, the last two, so I was a little bit out of the facilitation. Like I had some troubles multitasking, and also at the beginning with Prasanna, I really sorry if I do I pronounce correctly your name?
Yes, yes. The right
Prasanna.
pronunciation. Yeah, that's
Okay,
perfect.
okay, thank you. And yeah, so yeah, I had some difficulties, though, although I chose a low level of challenges. But yeah, I mean, I felt good. I still I have this thing that, like, when I'm facilitating, I'm not 100% focused. Like, I'm not enjoying the circle completely, like I would be if I were like one of the other participants. And yeah, but you may have advice for me, I think, about that. And yeah, one more thing is that also at one point I was thinking, okay, I have to do this, or I have to do this, or not. Like, how do I overcome this challenge and so on? And then I just thought that maybe it's just better to listen, like that. I shouldn't think that much like about how you overcome it, but more about listening to the person who's actually causing the challenge, because it's that could be always the key, because there is no solution for every problem. That's what I wanted to say.
Thank you, Julia. I thought you did the challenges really well. And, it's amazing how the challenges, even if they're low level, they really interrupt your train of thought when you're in empathy mode. It's startling. And then it's so easy to forget what you were thinking about before, to get back into that mode. And I think the benefit of it is that we practice these. So the more we practice them, the quicker we can get back to the empathic mode. And you were just awesome. I didn't feel like I had to do anything. You handled the challenges great. And Edwin was great. I mean, such a great actor. It felt so real, so awesome. Would anyone else like to give some feedback?
I'll comment. Yeah, I have the same with responsibility. So there's a responsibility for holding the space, and part of my awareness, even I got responsibility for all the rooms right now. So it sort of distracts and can't just sort of let go, which is nice in the circle. And it's just a matter of practice. And, I just keep doing it. The thing with a good practice that I use if somebody disrupts, like if Larry's wanting to say something, say, Larry, we'd want to hear what you have to, I hear you have something you want to say. We really want to hear it, but we have agreed to the time limits. And when it comes to be your turn, you can say anything you want. So it sounds like you were sort of moving towards that, sort of a reflecting of what the person is saying, and then sort of bring them back into the process.
Like you say, okay, I'm really interested in what you want to say, and then we are going to say when it's your turn, or something like that.
Oh, not that you're interested in it. It's first it's like, oh, you have something to say. We want to hear it. And then, or you could even, if it's more of an energetic thing, is you actually reflect a little bit of the energy of it. So they get a quick reflection, and then that usually calms them down. And then, so anyway, it's just, yeah. So, but otherwise, I thought you just kept everything flowing well.
Okay. Thank you.
Prasanna?
Yeah, I must say that the topic was very engaging. It was, first of all, a very good topic because it was engaging. You can reflect to that. And I don't know. Some I wonder, maybe it just started off all of a sudden with, okay, this is a time break and we're starting with an intro or of the instructions or something, I think so, was missed in the beginning.
Okay, so the second part, I didn't give the how to because I thought we weren't supposed to.
Yeah, we're not supposed to. You're just doing the facilitation.
Okay.
There's no how-to in this. This
Okay,
is more
sorry
about the
then.
challenges. Yeah, we want to get right into
Okay.
it and then focus on challenges. You already did the
Sure.
how-to twice, so yeah.
Okay, sure.
And the first
So
question,
take
I
that back.
didn't get what you said.
Yeah, no, that was a question because I didn't get that clarity. So that was why the highlight was the topic and the beep sound which you were using. That was amazing, I thought, because I will take that because sometimes the video and things are not working. People can't see it. Like my video is hanged. I'm unable to see any of you for this whole time. So a beep is really useful. So I thought that was quite an interesting thing. I will take that point for myself. Like I will also use it. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Thank you.
All right, thank you for that debrief. And now, Edwin, do we have do we have another 40 minutes? Do we have that much time?
Yeah, there we go. So yeah, we have about 40 minutes. Yep. Before we close.
All right.
I would like to have a bio break, like 2 minutes.
Okay.
That's okay. Be
Sure.
right back.
I just took one too. I kind of turned my video off and.
All right, 2-minute bio break. Actually, I'm all right, so I'll just have a sip of water.
Yeah, me too.
It's always the timing that I worry about because early on we had one time when someone didn't get a chance to go, and I just regretted that forever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's good to have an extra clock. I don't know. Are you on a cell phone or?
Yeah, a cell phone. I'm writing the software timers, but I didn't have a 45-minute in there. I have a 3, 4, 5, 10, 15, 20, 30, 60, 70, 80, and 90, but not a 45.
Yeah, you got to have it. Sounds like you're a bit of a programmer. You got to have it so it's customizable because these things are always changing. For the circle itself, 3, 4, 5, 3, 4, 5, 6 are kind of the more standard. Yeah.
Right. And I'm just trying to make it so people can just click a button. You know, anybody could easily do that. But the ones that are adjustable up and down, I haven't found one like that yet that I can add as a plugin to WordPress, which is the platform I use, and I use Elementor on top of that, which makes it fancy looking.
Mm-hmm. You know, I just saw something in the views. They have a new immersive view. I'm not sure what that. Yeah, just try that. You can change. I don't know.
The apps.
Yeah, are you able? Is it change for you too, or is it?
It did change. Yes, it did change. It has picture frames.
So you're seeing picture frames?
Yes, around every.
Oh, interesting. That's a new.
It's a new feature. And they did add an app which does have a timer, and I forgot that they had done that.
Interesting. Oh yeah, they should have a timer built in. That would be really good.
Added some apps, and it's the kind that you're describing where you can click it up and down to any particular time.
Yeah, well, I think that I have to play with that immersive view. Let's see.
So Julia, you were awesome. That was really good. I just felt so comfortable with you. It just felt like, you know, you're going to be taking care of everyone. That's the way I felt. You were
I'm happy to hear that because I felt very uncomfortable.
you looked very casual. Really looked comfortable.
That's a skill, but
yeah,
on the inside I was the opposite.
All right, Prasanna. 40 minutes, and we might run a little bit short, just to be honest. Okay.
Okay,
so
and we have 10 minutes for each, right, Larry? 10 minutes each.
Well, we have a 40 minutes all together, as far as I know, unless that's changed.
It's 35 now.
35 now. Okay, so back it up to 35, and that won't give us a debrief, will it?
Well, if you do 30, then you can have a 5-minute debrief.
All right, we'll do 30 and then a 5-minute debrief, starting now.
So 7 minutes.
You're on. You don't have to do the how-to. You can just begin.
Okay, but step one, you gotta check what level that you want of conflict.
I think a mid-level is okay.
Okay.
Which level?
And
mid-level.
A mid-level.
Yes.
Yes. And just to let you guys know that my camera isn't working. I'm unable to see any of you.
Oh.
So, yeah.
Oh. So
for your challenges. So
audio.
I've just, yeah, it's just the audio. Just.
Oh, thank you. Thank
let
you.
You guys know. Sure. Okay. So this is going. Okay. So the topic which we are going to discuss today is BUD, B-U-D, BUD, which is something new in your life, something with great promise, something that requires care, or I'm putting that in chat box, or you can also speak, if not on the topic, anything which is alive in you. So I'm going to be the first speaker out here, and Julia, will you please listen to me?
How much time do we have?
Yes.
Yes, I think so. We have 7 minutes each pair, and you can hear this music.
You'll want to do less, like 4 minutes or 5 minutes. 7 is too.
6 minutes, 5 minutes?
5, yeah. And secondly, you'll want to be the first listener because we're all new people. We don't know what's happening. So by being the first listener, you'll be modeling how to listen. So, yeah.
Sure. So I will request someone to volunteer to speak. I'm going to be the first listener.
I'll volunteer.
Thank you, Larry.
Okay. So thank you, Prasanna, for letting us know that we'll have a certain amount of time to speak, and letting us know also that you're not seeing us on the screen, so to give challenges in an auditory way. I want to thank you for clarifying those topics. It really feels good to have some clarity about things like that. Thank you for that. And I'll stop there.
So, Larry, you are thankful for the timing, the clarity on the timing, that you will have complete 5 minutes with you and to talk. And you're also sharing your gratitude with, I missed that last part, Larry. Can you just repeat it, please?
That the challenges will come through in an auditory way.
Sure. That because I have a technical glitch, I'm unable to see all of you. So the challenges level will be done auditorily.
Yes, thank you. And on our topic earlier of conflict, I'm like you, still resonating on what Edwin was saying, and it makes so much sense, you know, to have that mutuality in a relationship. Oh, Otherwise, go ahead.
Yeah, so you're reflecting on the previous conversation where Edwin shared about having mutuality in relationships.
You know, it's just so obvious when you look at it that a relationship is not really a workable relationship without that mutuality. And it makes so much sense. It just makes so much sense.
You're reflecting on that, it makes so much of sense that to make a relationship workable, it's important to have mutuality there.
Yes, it's essential. It's essential. You know, it's just obviously essential. And I think that civilization has allowed or put up with unequal relationships because we've all been taught that one person can be the dominator and the other person can be the servant.
So it's so essential to have mutuality in between, because through civilization has taught us that one has to be the dominator, and the second, Larry, is I wanted to clarify. One is the dominator. The second is
a servant.
A servant. So for time now, for civilization have got this done, that one has to be dominant and one has to be the servant. But that needs to change.
Yes, and we have, as human beings, we've allowed this hierarchy of power to continue throughout human civilization, not just our lives, not just our parents' lives, but for thousands of years.
As for thousands of years, as human beings, we have allowed this whole power dynamics to actually hound our lives, and it's just not, it's in our families and everywhere now.
We have normalized, or we've become so accustomed to it that we think it's normal. We've normalized it in our own way of thinking. We've accepted it, and that's what allows it to continue. And it's really abusive to anyone in that kind of relationship.
We have normalized this whole situation so much now that it's now has become okay, and that's abusive, and that's not helpful, and that needs to change.
Yes, that is abusive. It's harmful to both parties. There's not a winner or a loser. Both parties are losers, even though one might look like a winner and the other might look like a loser. Both parties are being harmed by this inequality.
By this inequality, actually, no one is a winner. The both parties are losers here, irrespective of they may feel like a winner, but at the end, both are losing because of this abusive.
Thank you, Prasanna. I feel fully heard.
Thank you, Nari. Now, I'm going to be speaker, and I request Julia. I hope I'm pronouncing your name right.
Yes, that's perfect.
Yeah.
I'm very happy to listen to you.
Julia. Yeah.
I was kind of thinking you might have chosen Edwin, because Edwin probably knows better what to say. So
thank you, Larry. The speaker has to choose who they want.
Okay.
So that's the process. Thank you. So Julia, the topic, which is something new in your life, something with great promise, something that requires care. For me, at present, the empathy circle is something which is so promising because I'm getting to meet so many new people out here.
I'm hearing that. I'm sorry if I interrupt you. I'm hearing that for now, one thing that it's really promising for you is the empathy circle, and this is one thing that you're trying to use to meet a lot of new people.
Yes, and I see a lot of promise here because through my buddy calls, I'm getting to know people, what they are doing in this space, what initiatives they are taking, and they have shared that we can collaborate together. So it's so promising, and I feel so energized by just the thought of it.
So I'm hearing that you feel really happy or energized about this collaboration about among people, and like also you are very excited of having these empathy calls with other people that share their experiences with you.
Yes, and yesterday I was just looking into what more I can do in this space. I'm completely new to it. I know it's going to take me a lot of time to practice, but there is the support system, so I feel very comfortable that I can be vulnerable. Okay, I don't need to be perfect. I will learn with time. So I'm thankful that I have the support system.
Yeah, I'm hearing that you feel very confident about this, though you think that you're going to be vulnerable at the beginning, but that's okay because you have your support system.
Yes, so I'm very grateful for this. Something new is also that tomorrow my mama will be joining an empathy circle. If she lives alone, she has lived alone for a while now. I really wanted her to meet new people, get out of her zone, and I'm so happy that tomorrow that she's taking that step, and she will be joining one circle.
Yeah, I'm hearing that you're sharing your feelings, like your happiness and excitement about having your mom join an empathy circle tomorrow. You think that it's going to be like a very positive experience for her, since she's been living alone for a while, not meeting so many people. So yeah, you're looking forward to it.
Yes, definitely. And for her, that's something of great promise. I think that with my mama, if she is able to get introduced to this and utilize this process in her relationships, I think it's going to do so wonders for our family. Looking forward to it.
You are clarifying why you're excited, especially you think that these empathy circles could really be beneficial for helping not only your mom, but like your family in addressing issues, for example.
Yes. Thank you, Julia. I feel fully heard.
You're welcome. Happy to listen. Okay. So I'll be the speaker, and Edwin, you want to listen to me?
Sure, I'll listen.
Okay. Let's see. So, but I wonder if this word has a particular meaning.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't understand what that word meant either. I was kind of curious what bud meant. It just didn't kind of make sense to me either. So.
Okay, just to Edwin, the topic, I will get back to it. Julia, please continue. Edwin, just reflect on what Julia is saying, and later when your turn comes, you can speak about whatever you want.
You mean reflect on it, so I should think about what she's saying? Or is that what you mean by reflect?
Means just, yes, just now you have heard all of us. Like Julia will speak, and whatever she's speaking, you just share the essence of what she has spoken.
Oh, okay. I'll try.
Sure.
So yeah, you said something about bud. That's what I got, Julia.
Yeah. let's say, I can talk about something new that happened in my life. Well, I moved to a different city, a different country 1 week ago. So that's something new. That's also promising. And I'll stop here.
So a new thing for you is you've moved to a new city, and that's sort of a promising change for you.
I say that it's promising because so far I feel like I've been so lucky, and I feel so grateful because I've been meeting only people that have been kind to me, and that's not always obvious.
Do you feel very grateful and lucky that you've been meeting a lot of very kind people there, and this sounds like it doesn't always happen for you.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, for example, I have a friend here in this city, and he introduced me already to like his social circle, like other friends that he has, and everybody was very already supportive, welcoming, and also I feel very lucky that I moved in with another girl, so I have a flatmate, and I didn't know her at all, so and I feel like we have a lot to share, like we have a lot in common. So yeah, I feel great.
Yeah, you feel great. You got a good roommate, you got a lot of connection, got a lot in common there, and sounds like you had a friend and he introduced you to a lot of other people, and they've been very open and welcoming to you. So you're feeling pretty good about being there now.
Yeah, and yeah, that's really amazing because I'm like here I'm in Germany, Munich, and I'm kind of far away from my family and my friends. So I really look forward to building a new support system, as Prasanna said, also here, because I really need to have to build strong connections to be happy.
So you're in a whole new city, a whole new country, and it's important to you to have that whole support system. It sounds like it's getting off to a good start, building that, because you really need that for your own well-being.
Yeah, and I'm also trying to use this experience to to be a better person, like how can I say this? Like I think that it's very important to build a good relationship. Like it's very important, like the first phase, like how you started with people. So really, I'm trying to put my effort there to be social, to be kind, and to listen, and yeah. I'm trying my best.
Yeah, so you're trying your best to really set the foundation for good relationships by being a good listener, to be kind. So really setting the stage, the pattern for good relationships. Whoa.
Perfect.
That is
Thank
really
you,
loud. Whew. Oh, my ears are.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Just because of the video disconnection, that's why I had to use a louder tone. I've reduced the volume.
Okay.
Edwin, I heard you were confused about the topic. So I will just take 10 seconds just to explain for your clarity. I heard you had that query.
Oh, I think I got it. I got it now. Yeah, I got it. It's just something new.
Okay.
Yeah, I got it. So
yeah, it's just something new.
it became
Please
kind
go
of
ahead.
clear to me over time. Okay. I guess Larry can speak to you.
Sure, cool.
Yeah, so something new that I'm excited about. Yesterday, I got an email from a chaplain in the U.S. Army, and he said, my commander of the battalion wants to have empathy training in our battalion. and he wanted to hear, kind of from me, about the training we offer and stuff. And it was like, whoa, the military, the army, teaching them empathy just is pretty cool. The idea of it even. So I don't know where it will go, but just the idea of it.
So Edwin, I hear you saying that yesterday you received an email, and I'm not sure if you said it was from a friend or someone you knew, but it was an exciting email because they said their commander of a battalion wanted to have empathy circles for the military. So this is pretty exciting news, and your thought was, wow, whoa, incredible.
Yeah. Yeah, the part you missed was that he's actually a chaplain
He's a chaplain, right.
for this battalion. And a battalion in the Army is something like 2,000 to 3,000 soldiers. So it sounds like the commander wants training, empathy training. And it's like, I don't know what will happen, but it'd be pretty cool if we did empathy circle, training for the military, because I think they could really use it.
Yeah, thank you, Edwin, for clarifying. It was the email was from a chaplain, and his commander of a battalion, which could be, I think you said thousands of soldiers. That's pretty exciting.
2 to 3. I looked it up. It said 2,000 to 3,000 is in a battalion.
2,000 to 3,000 in a battalion.
Yeah. So I think it would just be really helpful, for the military. I could just imagine the whole military doing empathy training. Wouldn't that be pretty cool? That like Joe Biden in his speech at the memorial, it was a Veterans Memorial Day, Memorial Day. He said, empathy is the foundation of democracy. Let me say that again. Empathy is the foundation of democracy. So he made a big point on Memorial Day, which is the remembrance for the military, that empathy is needed for democracy. And maybe that's filtering out. I don't know, but wouldn't that be cool if the whole military says, hey, we're going to teach everyone empathy skills, especially empathy circles. Yeah.
So this is a pretty incredible unfolding. And you're reflecting on that. Joe Biden said, empathy for democracy. And then he said, let me repeat that. Empathy for democracy. And this could be pretty incredible if it's actually unfolding within the military, practicing empathic communication. This could be this could be incredible.
Yeah, I always hate to get my hopes up because I always make all these connections with people and they're all interested in things and then it doesn't go anywhere. So I'm also a little cautious because I've had my hopes up so much that, hey, this will really, mushroom into something and then it just kind of peters out. So yeah, I hear that bell too. Guess that's my time.
So I'll do this last reflection. So you're saying you're reluctant to get your hopes up because in the past you've had experiences where you get all excited about it and making all these contacts and everything, and then just kind of doesn't go anywhere, just kind of peters out. So you don't want to make that repetition of having that expectation let down.
Yeah, I feel fully heard. Thanks, Larry.
All right, so I become the new bud, the new guy. Something new. Yeah, thanks for that clarification on the topic. I honestly, I have to pick a listener. Julia, can you be my listener, please? Thank you. So, something new. Well, I have some new surgery coming up, and I really want to put it off. I put it off for last month, and I want to put it off another month because I'm still alive and walking around and, hobbling along and getting by. So I have new surgery coming up, but I want to procrastinate it. I'll stop there.
Mm-hmm. So I'm hearing that and you're thinking about the new things for you, and you're thinking about this surgery that you have planned, but you feel like you don't want to do it. You would like to put it off.
Yeah, it's not that I guess I'm planning it, because I saw the doctor and the doctor said, this needs to become your highest priority. And as long as I'm able to continue, living in this world, I'd rather not go through a surgery.
Mm-hmm.
I just take that conservative approach, I guess.
Mm-hmm. So you're clarifying that you actually didn't plan it yet, but the doctor said that that should be your highest priority. But still, you're not so convinced. Like you think that you feel like you're still living in this world, so you're having this approach, like you are trying to, you like to avoid it at all costs.
Yeah, and I'm now wondering if this has anything to do with conflict or putting off conflict, but I think it has to put off staying alive, put off something like surgery, which I've been through before, and recuperation is not fun at all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're reflecting about the fact, like, if this procrastination, maybe in a way it's related to the topic we discussed about conflicts, because in a way surgery and what you have to do after, it also brings some problems and problems that needs to be solved.
Thank you. I feel fully heard. Thank you, Juliana.
You're welcome, Julia. Mm-hmm.
I keep wanting to say Juliana, but it's Julia. Thank you.
That's okay.
Thank
you. Okay. I would like to, Prasanna.
Just a heads up, we only have 4 minutes for this section, so if you want to debrief.
Mm-hmm. Is that okay for you, 4 minutes, or?
Edwin, I didn't get it. The 4 minutes we wrap this, then go to.
For speaking, yeah, Julia can speak for 4 minutes, and then actually let's do 3 minutes, and then a debrief, just so we have time for your debrief.
Sure.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Something new. So I have a lot of things coming. So basically this move was actually done because in September I'm going to start working at the university as a PhD student, and that will be a new challenge for me, like something that I've never done before.
So Julia, I hear you speaking that in September you are starting your PhD training, and that's it's something new and it's going to be something challenging for you.
Yes, exactly. Or at least I think that is going to be. I say that because I know some people that are doing something very similar, following more or less the same, like they studied the same thing as me, and they are pursuing a very similar career. And I know from them that as an experience, this is can be very fulfilling, but also frustrating at times.
So I hear you that you have known others' experiences also pursuing this career. So this can be really fruitful for you, but at the same time, it's going to be frustrating and challenging also.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I think this really goes into the definition of bad, because it's something that it has a great promise, like it has let's say the potential. So yeah, I was saying that this really could be something with a great promise, because it can really change a lot of things in my life. And yeah, it's something really new, completely different from what I've done before. And it does also require care in the sense that one really needs to put a lot of effort into it.
I think Prasanna was not hearing you. Are you hearing us, Prasanna? Maybe turn off your video.
Yeah,
Can you
Julia,
hear
I'm
us now?
sorry. Yes,
Do you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay.
Yes, we hear you now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, Julia, I'm sorry.
No problem. I didn't say anything so important. I was just reflecting that. So this new experience would be really falling into the category of bad, that it's new, it's promising, it has the potential to really change my life. And yeah, I'm excited. I really look forward to September, to starting.
So you're looking forward to this new experiences, and you have full of emotions, and it's going to be really exciting and definitely challenging, but you do look forward to your September and starting your new career. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Thank
We're going to have to take time and do our debrief.
Thank you, Julia.
Perfect. Thank you, Prasanna. I feel fully heard. We can debrief.
Thank you, Prasanna. Thank you, Julia. Oh, time. My enemy in this lifetime. Time, not enough time. So, Prasanna, would you like to let us know how that felt for you?
Yeah, definitely I was enough for challenging myself to require others. I felt that I was quite challenging for myself. It's because of technology and all. I need to really set this thing up, this system, because most of the time I'm like, Zoom calls, my videos aren't working, or there's some problem in hearing. So that something was a challenge at a personal end, which I need to fix. So yeah, so that's the feeling. Overall, I felt okay. In terms of definitely, I need to practice more and get more comfortable in multitasking. So yeah, but I think with more practice, I will get there. So just being hopeful.
Thank you, Prasanna. Yeah, I gave you that challenge at the beginning, and then I just didn't feel like, it didn't seem like you were under the technology challenge. And Edna's been having some technology challenges today also. And I really love when you started talking about your mom and tomorrow her participating. I could just feel all of that love that you have for your mom and wanting her to experience the empathy circles. So I felt really welcome and supported by you. I felt like you were doing everything fine. So that's my feedback. Anybody else some feedback?
I've got some, yeah, the technology and having a quiet space, because I hear a lot of background noise, so that can be disruptive. One way to handle it is to mute, if you're not speaking, to hit the mute button. Yeah, exactly. And I know the technology issues, like I'm dealing with those too, so that it's very frustrating. It adds a level of stress, for the facilitator as well as everyone else. Yeah, I feel kind of stressed too by my own technology issues here with the audio. It seems to be working at the moment. So otherwise, in terms of just the actual, facilitating, when, I interrupted, I felt you just, brought me back, and I think, whatever Larry did too, you brought us back. So it seemed very calm, very caring sort of facilitation. So it felt comfortable to me. Felt, yeah, warm and caring.
Julia?
So for me, I really enjoyed the topic. Like I had a lot to talk about, and I think it was also very something very positive as a topic. Like and I wanted to say I really like how that like you wanted to explain the definition of bod, and you did it like without breaking the flow in the circle. So you did it once the turn was Edwin's turn was over. And also I also think that you're really good like at talking to people when you are readdressing them to the circle, because it feels like really natural. I don't know, like as Edwin said, that you're really calm, and it feels so I don't know, natural. That's the best word I can come up with.
Thank you.
Yeah, I thought you did great. Really great.
Thank you, Larry, everyone, Julia.
Like
Thank
you
you,
said,
everyone. Yeah, Prasanna, Julia,
practice.
Larry.
See you on the other side.
The rooms are closing in about 20. Everybody's holding on. They're not coming back right away. They're waiting till they're forced to come back. They must be really engaged. They got 15 seconds. They should all be coming
Thank you,
back.
everyone. Thanks,
Thanks, Larry, for facilitating
Love
overall.
these circles. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, Larry. Thanks, Edwin. Thanks, Julia.
I can't wait to hear your mom.
Me too. Me too. So excited.
If you could mute Prasanna, there you go, thanks. So everybody's coming back. Okay, is everyone back? So welcome back. We're going to do our debrief, but we wanted to add a little extra feature to the debrief, and it's a bit of a role playing. So what we're going to do is when you share your debrief, you'll have your 1 minute, is settle into just feel how you're feeling kind of quickly, and then kind of feel how, turn whatever you're feeling into a physical emotion. So this is kind of me. I'm kind of feeling kind of energized, and then everybody mirror that motion. Kind of, let's get that motion going. Let's get that going. If you feel comfortable doing it, yeah, just go it. So you get a little bit of emotion going. So that's what we're going to be doing. Everybody, start with your sharing that feeling, turning it into emotion, and then share what what you have to say. Your debrief. And I just wanted to give a bit of a heads up about why we're doing this. So this is about deepening empathy. So when we have self-empathy, we sense into how we're feeling, and this is sort of helping to express that in a physical way. And then as empathizing with someone else is sensing into their felt experience, and it's pretty dramatic when we're reflecting and mirroring it. And it fits in with empathy and mirror neurons, which is when we do an action and feel, and when we do an action and see an action, the same neurons fire. So when I'm waving my hand, there's neurons firing in my brain. And now when Dominic, sees it, or everyone sees it, you're feeling that even without even mirroring it physically. You're sort of sensing it in your own body, your own neurons are firing as if you're doing it, even if you're not doing it. So this is just a little exercise to help with, tapping into that self-empathy and into taking it out of just words and putting it into sort of a physicality. And also, since we do a lot of sitting here, we're all like sitting for a couple hours, this is a good way to get into our bodies. So with that, it's just a little bit of a fun exercise and a little bit of empathic physical exercise. So that our group was like fantastic as usual, just really a lot of learning and growth and really great topics. So thank you to everyone in my group. And I'm going to pass it on to Dominic, who's going to keep the ball rolling here.
Okay, cool. I'll do my check-in and then I'll call people. Lou, you'll be next. But so I feel a bit silly. So just great. So yeah, I it was a fun session, giving a lot of challenges. an insight that I gained was at the end of our session, we had like 12 minutes. So we did a speed round of like a 2 to 3 minute circle of like, what are you grateful for? And it was kind of fun to just like try to make the time and make sure everyone had space, but also to ground us and think about the good after I frustrated Mina and Ralph for like an hour. So yeah, that was nice. Lou, you're next.
Okay, I'm feeling just full of love and sending love out to everybody, and particularly to the people in my group, Joelle, Kathy, and Dean. We had a very fun time together and challenging time, lots of learning. But I just feel very connected. You know, I feel very connected by the work that we did together, and grateful to all three of them for the time that we spent together.
Thank you, Lou. I'm just gonna go across Larry and then Julia. Larry first.
Love. I'm feeling love for everybody in the world. Woohoo! Thank you. We had an awesome group. Prasanna and Julia were awesome. Edwin was awesome. And we did some great challenges. We were very interrupting and rude. We asked a lot of questions. It was great. It was really great. So I loved it all. Thank you.
Great, thank you so much, Larry. Julia and then Prasanna.
So I feel very relaxed after this circle, also because it's evening for me. So I'm going to stretch. That's what I do when I want to relax. And yeah, thank you, guys, in our circles. I think the topics we chose were very nice. It was very easy to talk with these, and yeah, I feel like a lot of positive emotions coming from these circles, and yeah, I'm really grateful. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, Prasanna.
I feel like a childlike wonder is there. Actually feeling like a child. Learning something new, challenging. There's so much of kindness all around. So I feel that kindness coming from each one of you, especially my group, who was so kind to me, and thank you.
Great, thank you, Prasanna. Joelle?
I experienced grief and delight. Lou and Dean were amazingly pain in the butts the entire time, and Lou embodied like blame and resentment and oppositionality, and I learned a lot. And yeah, he and Dean were delightful and pains in the butts, and I learned a lot from Kathy too around intervening and setting limits and sort of protecting the process that we're in, even when people are being like just stubbornly oppositional. So thank you.
Great, thank you, Joelle. Kathy and then Bill. Sorry, I didn't call you out earlier. Kathy.
You muted, Kathy.
Stand up. Power pose with heart. So I feel victorious because I made it through that session. When Joelle was going, I was just like, toward the end, I could just cracking up. It was just so funny. The challenges, Dean and Lou were like great actors. And it was very rewarding, very educational. So I really appreciate the challenges. And Joelle was brave enough to go first. So I did some learning first while she went. So thanks, everybody.
Great, thank you so much, Kathy. Bill and then Celine.
Yeah, so I'm kind of expanding. I was expanding. And we did do some disruptions, but part of it, people were just really it was very real. And I realized the expanding comes from realizing, yes, we're doing a class, but we're also, people have real lives. And so sometimes you have to abandon the script and accept what's happening, what's really real for people. And that's a balance. So it was learning. Thank you. Thank you. And great appreciation for all in my circle. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Bill. Celine and then Dean.
So my movement is a self-hug, self-empathy. We touched some very tender places and went into grief, really. So grateful, a lot of learning and sharing and intimacy.
Thank you. Thank you, Dean, and then Cecilia. Oh, you're muted, Dean, you're muted.
I am crying with tears of sadness and tears of joy because of the privilege of spending such time with such beautiful people.
Thank you so much. Cecilia and then Ralph.
And I need to come up with a movement, so I'm doing this. Lovely to see you, and thank you for the group. It was helpful, and I hope there's another moment to practice next week. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you, Cecilia. Ralph and then Mina.
Many learnings. I feel that each of these episodes is like a mini Chekhov play, very rich in learning, joys, sorrows intermingling, fear turning into enthusiasm. And we ended on a note of being grateful. And so I've been grateful for my nemeses who have leaned on me to become stronger, and certainly grateful for my my colleagues. And Celine took my gesture, but I have another one, and it is a deep bow to you all.
Thank you.
Me. Well, it seems like I'm at the bottom, so everybody's taken all the gestures. So I'm just going to do something silly. And the sun's sticking out. And I'm also want to sort of echo what Ralph was saying about gratitude. We ended on gratitude in our small circle, and I was trying to think about things that I'm grateful for. And I'm really grateful for this opportunity to learn these skills and to share that all with all of you guys.
Great. Thank you, Mina. Okay, Cynthia and then Anne.
Let's see. I'm feeling very sensitive. Yeah. So I'll just be entirely vulnerable with you all and say that I probably wasn't in 100% great space to do this today, because I was with such a great group, but I feel like I'm not cut out for this, is how I'm feeling. Just feeling like some sense of I guess perfectionism, maybe, of like, oh, I thought I'd really have a skill with this, but like I did something that hurt somebody's feelings, and then I'm just feeling very like, oh, I might not be cut out for this, kind of. So that's just truly, that's the truth of where I am.
Well, thank you for sharing that, Cynthia. I think the fact that you even are recognizing that means you're cut out for this, you know? I don't think you'll make the same mistake again, given that reaction. But, you know, you're free to come and go as you like. This is a safe space. Thank you again. And then Anne. You're muted, Anne. Muted, Anne.
I'm grateful to Ralph, who went full out for maximum challenge, and I couldn't keep a straight face. So let's laugh. And thank you. yeah, it's good to laugh even more. And a range of emotions I experienced in our circle. So thank you, all of you. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Anne. And that's everyone, I think. Yeah, for sure.
Prasanna has her video off because of technical issues. So
Got it. Great. So then I'll pass it off to Larry if there's, unless we have any extra comments.
no, you can get a feedback from Prasanna.
Oh, she did.
She did. She already went. Oh, okay. Yeah. My bad there.
Okay, cool. Larry, you're up.
All right, thank you. So a question, are there any trainer final comments? Hand up by Lou.
Yeah, so I just want to reiterate that the purpose of doing the challenges in the circle is to help people experience and see how their nervous system responds to unexpected things that happen in the circle, and to learn from that. And it is not our purpose to overwhelm people. And it is a delicate balance because people can get overwhelmed if something is a little too much is offered. So so the idea of the challenge is to leave you feeling a little bit more skilled or a little bit more confident of how you might respond in a situation like that. If the result of it has been that it's left you questioning whether you should do this or not, please get some support in being heard for what happened for you. Because it's not our intention to make people feel less likely that they can do this. Please reach out and get support. I'm available to anyone who would need that kind of support if you need it.
Thank you, Lou. I know we can all support one another. We're all here to, become the human beings we want to become, that we all deserve to become, in a society, in a civilization that's been suppressing the fun, the laughter, the love in human beings for thousands of years. And we want to create the space for everyone to be welcome. Absolutely. All right. Any other comments?
I've got one, Larry.
Oh, Edmund, yes.
Yeah, in terms of support, that's why we have the Empathy Buddy support. When you're doing empathy circles, a lot of feelings and so forth can come up, and it's difficult for everyone. So especially if you're doing conflict type of empathy circles, we have like pre-circles. You don't go into a challenging place before you have empathy buddies where you get some empathic listening, and then afterwards to have a debrief, because this can be very challenging, and it's to have that whole network. That's what we really try to set up. So just for everyone, I think it's just good to be aware of the importance of getting that mutual support.
Any other trainer comments? Bill?
Muted.
Whoop, you're muted.
I wanted to reiterate and support what Lou said, but also one of the things I'm looking at is if you're asking the question. In other words, if you're going through this, this is a process. As we say, it's an ongoing process. And if you're asking the question, you're doing your job. You're doing what you need to do. And so again, it's not our intention to overwhelm people. But if you feel it, but you're asking that question, please reach out for help or support. But on the other hand, you're doing fine because you're asking the question. And I think that's the important part. As we, it's an all process. We'll never get to perfection. So I just want to say thank you. That's it.
Thank you, Bill. Yes, we're all in this process and everything's coming out just fine. Just hang in there, stay with it. And we're all here to support. Thank you, Bill. Lou, yes.
I just want to make one other comment about people who come to circles with either, a low level of awareness, self-awareness, or a low level of emotional intelligence, or low level of ability to articulate, what is going on inside them. That pretty much all the people that I have experienced coming to empathy circles and who had difficulty participating they were all doing the best that they could, even though they, and so I just want to, I guess I just want to reiterate that when people are having difficulty in the circle, it's usually not because they're trying to be difficult. It's they're doing the best they can to either participate or hold on to some value that they think is important that's not happening. So I just wanted to put that perspective out there.
Thank you, Lou. And to reiterate what Ralph said this morning was, I didn't do my homework, but somehow I feel like I'm going to be welcome here. Everybody's welcome here. Everybody's welcome here. That's what it's all about. Thank you, Lou. Any other comments from the trainers? All right, then I'll read the summary. So we'll review what we did in this session. Everyone who wanted to practice facilitating a short empathy circle with an opportunity to practice dealing with challenges. For those who felt ready to deal with challenges, we provided extra time by skipping the how-to introduction, and we debrief the experience at the end of the empathy circle. And then I have what's coming up next in session 5. Next week is an integration of your learnings, hearing your feedback about the training, and a discussion about your next steps. And there are assignments. We will send out an email reminder to fill out the session feedback survey. The link will be posted in the chat. Remember to hold an empathy buddy call, and reach out to the trainers. If you can't find your empathy buddy, reach out to the trainers too. Try to facilitate an empathy circle with family and friends. And we're all looking forward to seeing Prasanna's mom participating in empathy circles. That's beautiful. And then think about how you see the empathy circle practice beginning to build a culture of empathy in our world. And if you would please post a feeling that you have in the chat, each person post a feeling that you have now as a result of being here today. And then we will, after that, then we'll all do the jazz hands for our final picture, and we'll see you all next week. And the trainers stay back, please.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Thanks for today.
See you next
See you next
week.
week.
Take care.
Have a good week.
Yeah.